Hello, YouTube family. Auntie is here. I'm Patty Jackson. I am your auntie of pop culture. Someone said, "Why do you call yourself that?" I said, "Because I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm like your aunt telling you what's going on." I'm Patty Jackson. There's giggles, there's my faces, there's hugs. Come on. It is the start of a busy weekend for me. Woo! How was your day? I had a really, really busy day at work, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to start with Wendy Williams. Now, friends are talking about the dark period with Wendy. Apparently, it was her DJ Booth, who saved her life. He contacted Kevin Sr. and Jr. to say what was really going on. It was in 2020 where they say that Wendy almost died from her alcohol addiction. 2 blood transfusions. They're saying at a point when Booth found her, she was in a robe, she had soiled herself, she was a mess in a catonic state. Why didn't the so-called manager or people do anything? Because they were afraid of the truth coming out. But how do you just leave her like that? She's had to re-enter because she's had a relapse. She went from the wine to the vodka. She has a serious alcohol addiction. Now they're saying that there's this documentary coming out in 2023. She got to get well. We don't want to hear about no podcasts, documentaries. She's got to get well. And hopefully her entering a wellness retreat, this will happen. But it was like they go on to say all of this stuff, but there's a documentary coming in 2023. We want her and need her to get well before they come out with the Wendy Williams docuseries. I think that she will be able to get on her feet. It's going to be one heck of an interview, whoever gets it. But she needs help, and she needs our prayers. A lot of you either want to see that Whitney Houston movie or you're not. A lot of people are tired. It's about the positive and the voice of Whitney Houston. It's a celebration of her greatness. They're not going to focus on the craziness where everyone else did. This movie, which is coming out in December, it's going to be just the opposite. R. Kelly, he has injured his leg. He is currently in Chicago in a prison facility. He's supposed to go back to New York for some kind of hearing. He doesn't want to go because it's a lot to travel, and he's injured his leg. They're not saying how he injured his leg, but he wants to do it via Zoom. It's like, don't move him, because he still has to be sentenced in Chicago, and they're saying that going back and forth is a lot because he injured his leg. The Queen's funeral is on Monday, and at some point this weekend, Prince Harry is going to be allowed to wear his military uniform. You know, since he stepped out of the royal family, they wouldn't let him do the things that wear his uniform. But for the services, and there are a lot of services, they're going to let him wear his military uniform. Let's talk about The Woman King, taking in about $1.5 million Thursday night. The movie cost $50 million to make, so there's a lot on this. Viola Davis, who is currently on the cover of Elle, looking fabulous. Stars. It was set in the 1820s, powerful general, an all-female military regime. Now, there's a lot of controversy with this movie. Trending is boycott Woman King because they're saying the movie was written by a white woman who is glorifying people in Africa who eventually sold slaves to Westerners. I'm just hearing about this story, this whole other part of it, but if you go see it, let me know what you think. There's a lot riding on it, and it's got to break even. $50 million. Not that it's going to make $50 million in the first weekend, but it's got to make a certain amount so they can make the money back. And I think the talk of boycotting this movie is going to hurt the movie. So it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. Tim Norman, the son of Sweetie Pie owner Miss Robbie. This was such a great show on the OWN network years ago about their soul food restaurant in St. Louis, the adventures of Miss Robbie, her son Tim, their grandson, and the nephew, or her grandson, Miss Robbie's grandson. Tim Norman has been found guilty of murder for hire, conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. They say he set it up so that Miss Robbie's grandson would be murdered, and they say they did it for insurance money. Miss Robbie has stood by her son. This isn't his first time in jail, and he seemed to be turning his life around, but something went terribly wrong, and this young man had died and everything, and people were pointing at Tim Norman. Well, Tim Norman, Sweetie Pie's fame, has been found guilty. I know that Miss Robbie, to lose your grandson to murder, your son is returning back to jail. She has stood by her son, by the way, but really devastating news about, Miss Robbie and her family. On Broadway, you got Samuel L. Jackson. It starts on Monday. Samuel L. Jackson, John David Washington, Danielle Brooks, a new version of August Wilson's The Piano Lesson, and it is being directed by Samuel L. Jackson's wife, LaTanya Richardson Jackson. It's going to be on Broadway for a little bit. So if you're in the New York area, you go to Broadway shows. August Wilson's The Piano Lesson is making a run on Broadway with Samuel L. Jackson and Denzel's son, John David Washington. The new iPhone 14 is coming out, or is out. Are you guys going to get it? Every year they come out with a new phone. I said I have to give it a break sometime. It has a bigger camera and something called, wait a minute, I have notes. If I can grab them. It has a bigger camera, same design, and it has something called a dynamic island. These iPhones are starting at $9.99. I'm going to have to wait for every year they come out with a new one. Every year it's a new iPhone. But if you get it, I'm interested in what you think and how different is it from the 13, which I know that myself, I just got that 13 last year. I said, we're not trying to upgrade. I hope you guys have a great weekend. There is a weekend edition. Yes, there is a weekend edition. So do check it out. It's curls, it's scoop, it's fancy because it has pictures. LaShawna Simon is a young lady who helps me with it, and she puts it all together. Have a great weekend. I would love to hear your comments. There was a lot to unpack this week. It was a lot. So sad to hear about all the drama concerning the Woman King, because I wanted this movie to do well, but they're talking about boycotting. It's just like, God, it's always something. But let me know. I would love to hear from you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm your auntie of pop culture.